From now on, we're going to start making pipeline in the United States. We build it in the United States. We build the pipelines. We want to build the pipe. Got to put a lot of workers, a lot of steel workers back to work.
President Trump making do on many of his promises, but lots of folks are asking if the Trump rally is over, pointing out that the Dow Jones Industrial Average has moved sideways longer than it actually rallied higher. Now, I would say that these are the same folks that got everything wrong from the election outcome to how it would initially react to a Trump win. Now, that being said, this is what you call the consolidation phase. Remember, we had the best 5-week post-election rally in history. And I got to tell you, I'm cool with sideways right now as long as the Dow holds above 19,750. That's my key support number. The better way, in my mind, to measure the Trump rally through the market is through the metal stocks. Today, think about this. You got copper producer Freeport-McMoRan, metal fabricator Allegheny Technologies, both breaking through major resistance points on huge volume. Now, these moves reflect strong belief that once Wilbur Ross and the others are confirmed, the Trump administration is going to hit China hard on steel tariffs. Also, I want you to keep this in mind. Go back to the third quarter of last year. 26% of domestic consumption of steel was imported. This resulted in 30% of our factories not being utilized. Also today, looking great, Caterpillar holding up nicely. This despite the fact that it's been attacked by a big-time Wall Street short, and United Rentals, which I think is a harbinger of building and construction demand in this country, is surging to a new all-time high. As for the broad market, I think it's waiting a little bit for some of this tax reform stuff and to see if some of those regulations bite the dust. That probably sparks the next leg higher, but make no mistake, this is going to be a building boom, and I got to tell you right now, the world's best builder is in charge. So if you want to measure the Trump rally, that's how you measure the Trump rally. To market watcher Christine Short for her thoughts. Christine, what are you feeling with this market right now?
I agree with you in that the markets took a little bit of a pause here. Clearly, investors liked the growth rhetoric that they were hearing. I think we're in a bit of a wait-and-see period. They want to see what actually comes out of this. Now we want to see Trump's actions here. I'd argue today you're seeing metals and mining companies move higher because you had AK Steel with great earnings this morning, Allegheny as well, and that bodes well for other names coming out tonight like Alcoa. You've got Steel Dynamics. And so just to see one of these cyclicals, the materials doing so well after they've really been down over the last 6 quarters, certainly bodes well for global growth. But yes, I think investors and CEO alike are really hoping that tax reform is a priority. Unfortunately, there's a little bit of concern that his first 2 major addresses, both his first press conference as well as his inauguration speech, didn't mention tax reform. But you've got everyone from Delta, GE, Goldman Sachs, all being very vocal on their calls this earnings season, saying, yeah, if our corporate tax rate goes from 35% to 20%, that drops down to the bottom line. So we're going to need to see some of that action happen to justify the very high earnings targets we have for 2017. S&P 500 growth expected at 13%. So obviously,
so you're looking for the market to go much higher from here.
Look, the markets are driven by earnings. If the corporate tax rate goes down, that, obviously very good for corporate earnings, and that's what's going to drive the markets higher. I think as some of these things
Christine, remember yesterday, Donald Trump did talk about corporate taxes being lower, and he mentioned between 15 and 20%. We know that the House plan is talking for 20%, so there's going to be a meeting of the minds there. And I think, to your point, yeah, it's going to feel better once all of this stuff is actually comes to fruition. But if someone is invested in this market right now, or they're thinking about investing in this market right now, how would you advise them to go from here? Where to go from here?
Yeah, I think the question is still he's talking about it, but is this a first 100 days thing? Is this a first year thing? Certainly it's on the docket. So I'd say these U.S. both domestic and companies, multinationals that we see in the S&P 500 are certainly going to benefit. My one concern is about these import tariffs, and depending on what sector or industry you work in, is that going to completely wipe away the benefit of a corporate tax reform?
All right, Christine Short, thank you very much. Really appreciate it.